Here we go again. It's another hazy, lovely afternoon here at Site B. Going out to get my exercise and pontificate and ponder on the pulsating world of tabletop role-playing game particularities. How many words start with P can I get into this? All right. We're talking about the mystery of session 0 today, or rule 0 and the number 0. So let's just preface this with whatever you and your players agree upon at your table. If you're having fun, that's all that matters. Don't listen to anybody else. All right, what is rule 0? I don't know. I have heard so many different versions, takes on it, and no matter what person A says, there's 20 people who will say that person's wrong and person B is right, and then there's 20 people who will say person B is wrong, and so I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I think rule 0 definitely 100% is read the rules. Read the rules, please, for the love of God. Read the rules. Be prepared. Read the rules. Read the rules. Read the module. Be prepared. Know what the random encounters have. Something, you know? I think we can 100% agree that is part of Rule 0/Session 0. But what's the rest of Rule 0? Okay, 75% I'm pretty sure Rule 0 is if there's something you don't like, change it to fit what you do like, okay? Caveat, and let the players know that's what you're planning. Don't just change something and not tell them. I think you've all heard my story about the King Arthur 5e game, which was one of the first 5e games I ever played in, where the guy was like, I'm gonna run a human-centric, low magic, King Arthur themed 5e game. And people showed up with like tieflings, and I had a kitsune, and he got all upset. And it's like, well, you changed the rules, but you didn't really tell anybody when they were making their characters. So everybody just showed up with 5e characters. I mean, we fixed it, but still, I ended up playing my kitsune anyways. So yeah. So 75%, I'm pretty sure rule 0 is, after you've read the rules, if there's something you don't like, it doesn't fit, that doesn't make sense, that everybody agrees upon is dumb, like initiative, critical hits, how web spell works, I don't know. Change it, as long as everybody knows that you've changed it. And once you've changed it, it stays that way, right? We've all agreed that this is how web spell works, or this is how initiative works, or that we don't want to order pineapple on the pizza, or this is how spot hidden, I don't know. When we were playing 5e at the beginning, we got critical hits wrong and we got advantage and disadvantage wrong. We didn't know we were doing critical hits wrong for like a year until somebody finally showed us the actual way it was written for 5e, and we were like, oh, we've been doing it wrong. But why change it? This is already the way we know. And same thing with advantage and disadvantage. Nobody understood that at first. So for like a month we did that wrong. And then once we figured out how it worked, we was like, nah, actually the way they have it written is better than our way. So we'll just do that instead. Right? So 75%, I'm pretty sure that's what following rule 0 is. Change something you don't like and make sure everybody agrees upon it. And make sure it's consistent. Don't just hodgepodge change shit throughout the game. Once you decide that's the rule, unless 4 or 5 sessions in, i.e. our critical hits problem, everybody goes, this isn't working. Can we revisit it? No, it's stuck that way. If you all agreed on the critical hits or whatever. All right, so 75%. Now, the remaining 25%, I think it's basically the DM's always right. Rule 0 is DM trumps everything. If DM says my way or the highway, if DM says nope, that's not how web spell works, I don't care how it's written in the book, you're just supposed to accept that. I don't believe in that one. I think I would suggest that instead the DM is always correct It's not necessarily always right, because the DM can make a calling mid-game, and then somebody goes, wait a minute, but you don't, you could call it out. You could go, wait a minute, but that ruins the flow of the game, because like blah, 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 pow, 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 pow. Wait a minute, on page 27 in the player's handbook, it specifically says, chapter 42, thing, and now the blah, 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 pow, pound, pound is gone. You've just grinded to a stop. And then we have, hey, remember my story about the kid who took 20 minutes to figure out plus 1d6 to add to his character in D&D Beyond. That was 20 minutes that were wasted. And we were never able to get that day, the whole game was ruined for that day, because we were never able to get back on track. Because the DM was wrong. Now, the DM is always correct, but they're not always right. Which means if you caught something that's wrong, and you feel the urge to go, but wait a minute, don't. Just run with it. Just run with it. Does it really matter? I mean, oh, my character died. Again, how many times do I say this? If we're lucky, guys, people my age, people your age, meet once a month. Perfect, right? Once, twice a month. Anybody's meeting more than that for a game, God love you. And those sessions are an average of, what, 2-3 hours? Maybe an hour and a half. Do you really want to bog that play time down to argue over a ruling? No, of course you don't. Make note of it, and then after the game's over, you can talk to the DM about it. Or you can talk to the DM between that session and point out, no, actually, this is what it says here, and that's what I was trying to do. And the DM might go, oh, you're right, we can retcon it. There's plenty of ways to fix it. I'm sorry. Oh, you're right. You didn't make the DM look bad mid-game. The DM doesn't make you look bad mid-game. You stick to what rule 0 is that the DM is correct, but maybe not always right. And then you have that free time in between game end and start of next session to discuss with the DM, without ruining the game, what you thought was supposed to happen based upon your perception of the rules, and what the DM thought was happened based upon how things played out. And maybe between the two of you, you can talk and come to an accord, a diplomatic solution to the problem, or alternatives. And if the DM is stick like, yeah, no, fuck you, blah, 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 well, you can always just walk. Or you can always just talk to the other players, and if they agree with you, you could all just approach the DM, again, through the open contacts of the interwebs. Things we didn't have when I was playing at 12. God, would have made life so much easier if we had these electric thingies. And if everybody's like, no, I think what we really want, then yeah, maybe the DM will go, oh God, okay, if you all think that's the way it should be, then yeah, we can change it. Let's just retcon that. You're not dead, you're still alive, you're just at whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's D&D, there's fucking magic. If something's broke and you need to fix it, magic. If something isn't broke and there's no reason to fix it, magic. If it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. Magic, 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 magic. Right? It's D&D. I don't have to explain shit. There's magic. I can fix shit because there's magic. I made a mistake, fix it. Magic. That's another one you're going to hear me say a lot in these guys, so just get used to it. So, I'm pretty sure that is what Rule 0 is. But I'm going to leave a 10% in there that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And at least 5 other people are going to go, no, you're wrong. Rule 0 is this. Okay, so to revisit Rule 0, read the rules. Be prepared, read the rules, read the adventure, know what each encounter, know what treasure, be prepared so the combat is quick and smooth and the game runs effortlessly. If you don't like something in the rules, change it and let everybody know you changed it. And if everybody's okay with it, fine. And if it doesn't work, change it again, because maybe something on paper worked, but then when you actually try it, you're like, oh wait, no, that's, on paper this airplane should fly, but in real life it crashed into a mountain. Right? I mean, it's trial and error. And finally, the DM is always right, but really the DM's not always right. The DM is just always correct. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, dog. How are you? But if you, you don't want to call them out. You don't want the game to break down because of a communication error, and next you're spending 20 minutes trying to figure out what this spell does, or if he got plus 1d6 or not. No. Whatever the DM says goes. But after the game's over, there should be that ability, especially with the interweb, to approach the DM and talk about it. I would hope. So that is what I'm pretty sure Rule 0 is. I could be wrong. What is Session 0? What is Session 0? Again, I don't know. I know what I think it is. But what I think it is and what other people think it is probably not the same thing. And again, doesn't matter. If I'm having fun and everybody at my table is having fun, then what the fuck does it matter? And nothing else matters. Right? So Session 0 is pretty much where as many of the players as can get together and agree upon the physics of the game and also other out-of-game things. Like, I think the first half of Session 0 would be, okay, what if we do somebody doesn't show? What's a day we can always agree upon? What's the time that we all can agree upon? If you're meeting online, what programs are we going to use? Does everybody know if that'll work on their computer? If we're meeting face-to-face, what are our rules for snacks, for noise? Are we going to be NC-17? Are we going to be G? Are we going to be peachy? Do we need safety tools or some variation of them? That's probably the first half of Session 0, I would think. And the second half is basically agreeing upon how the world works. Because if I just say, I'm running D&D, and I'm gonna run a 5e game. Okay, I know it's a 5e game where you're human-centric, low magic, and it's in medieval King Arthur England. Why do you have a tiefling? Because you'd never helped us make characters or explain the physics of the world. Really. So I think the second half of Session 0 is agreeing upon the physics of the world. What races everybody thinks is cool with, what classes, what backgrounds, setting, if you don't have one set, backstories, things you'd like to see, secrets about the characters, just the collective world building so that when the game starts and they emerge from the birthing pods as a fully formed first level adventure, they have a general idea. This is the world. This is what my character will see. This is what my character knows. This is how the world works. This is my character understanding. I'm playing a race that we all agree upon was available. I'm playing a class. These are the backgrounds. The DM knows my backstory. That's a separate video, kids. Don't worry. Whatever. So there we go. That is what I'm pretty sure Session 0 is. But again, I could be wrong. There's that 10, 20, 30, 40, 100% chance that I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about. At which point I would remind you, doesn't matter. As long as there is clear, unbiased communication, whether it be through interweb or face-to-face, between all the individuals involved, it doesn't matter what I think or anybody else thinks. All that matters in the reality of your little game universe for those 3 hours a week or 3 hours a month, you're having fun. and you've all agreed upon having fun, and there's no problems. And if there are problems, there is an open, honest, unbiased way to discuss those problems without anybody feeling like shit or being afraid to bring them up. Right? And as long as that is true consistently 80% of the time, nothing I say on these walks matters. Nothing else matters. Are you having fun? Did you enjoy the game? That's it. If we're not having fun, then that's where we visit Rule 0, Session 0, and everything else I'm talking about. Can we create the environment where players can talk about the situation without feeling bullied? They can open up and say, hey, I really don't appreciate that you're doing X every game, dude. Is there some way we can work with that? You know, we can talk about it. You know, last game I didn't get a chance to level up. Can we do that before next game? Or, hey, you know, last game when this happened and that happened, well, that's not actually how it works in the rules. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to break the game, but actually you were incorrect. This is what should have happened. This is what I wanted to happen. So is there any way to revisit that? You know, that's what I think Session 0 and Rule 0 mean. And I think that's, at the end of the day, what we want, right? We don't want that limited time that we have to play ruined by IRL drama. We want to start at 6 and end at 9 and have 2.5 to 3 hours of just good, solid elves with sticks roleplay. And as long as we can get that, then we're doing fine, guys. You're doing fine. You don't need to listen to me. If you're not getting that, if anything I say in any of these walks resonates with you as this is something that's happening to me, what should I do? Talk to me about it. You know, I'm open. You can DM me. Or if you don't want to talk to me about it, talk to somebody else. Talk to the people in your game about it. Talk to your DM. Talk to other gamers. We have access to so many ways to share our thought experiments about this wonderful hobby that is elves with sticks. All right? Well, there you go. There's my 2 cents on the 0 problem. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't agree with me, let me know. If you never want to hear me do this ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. 2001 subs by August 4th, please. And above all, buy my merch. Have a great day.